Financial fair play. That is our topic for today. In 2019, Chelsea encountered a transfer ban as a result of going against FFP. So what is financial fair play? FFP is a system that was employed in the European football to ensure that teams don't go in administration. But Todd Boehly is coming out as a genius since he's able to exploit FFP loopholes. In our video today, we are going to understand how Todd Boehly keeps on getting away with this FFP in the UEFA as well as the Premier League. In the UEFA Champions League, he exploited it until UEFA closed it, and now he's exploiting the Premier League, and the Premier League is closing it. So how has he done it? Before we start our topic today, like, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia were the bone of contention, especially in the first match day in the Pochettino era. We look at transfers. We are going to understand how transfers impact football. Media outlets are using net spend as the transfer amount, indicating that Chelsea are close to £1 billion signing of players. But in the Chelsea book of accounts, they actually have a 53% net spend. So does net spend count? We're going to look at that now. Chelsea have been keen, especially with their high spend during the summer window. We understand there's differences in transfer bookkeeping, and here are the differences. Transfers are amortized once they are recorded, and therefore Chelsea can only record that amount of money. For example, Enzo Fernandez was signed for £106 million, but Chelsea have actually recorded £30 million, with the subsequent £10 million being recorded in the length of his 8-year contract. And this amortization is a tool that Todd Boehly has used effectively by giving players long-term contract and therefore paying low fees as a result of amortization. The transfer in is recorded in terms of amortization, contrary to player sales, and we are going to see that once we look into the transfer outs, or what we call player sales. And this is how they look up. Player sales are recorded in real time as revenues. For example, when you sell a player for a certain fee, for example, Kai Havertz, 65 million is directly recorded in Chelsea's books as revenue, while Arsenal will record the amortized fee. And this is the difference. Therefore, the sale of academy players such as Mount, Loftus-Cheek, Hall and Chalobah is regarded as a profit, since these players were acquired for £0 million. Therefore, academy is also a source of income for Chelsea, therefore ensuring Chelsea are in good depth. For example, Mount cost Chelsea £0 million, but Man United paid 60 million for him. Therefore, Chelsea made 60 million in profit. Also, we are going to look at what these transfers are and how they impact the team, since Chelsea look in good financial health. We look at the choice of Mason Mount precisely because Mount has been one of the players who has impacted Chelsea positively by giving Chelsea a clean financial health. Therefore, Chelsea are actually making profits in this transfer window. So how is Todd Boehly doing this? With the stringent measures of FFP, we are seeing Todd Boehly exploiting these loopholes while opposition teams and leagues are calling out for the sanctioning of Chelsea. We have what we call player impairment. Player impairment is a cost where players are actually paid less compared to their book value. This cost is recorded in the expense section of the accounting books, and therefore Chelsea are able to get away through this loophole known as player impairment. For example, Lukaku's book value is 50 million and Chelsea managed to sell Lukaku for 40 million. This means Chelsea have sold Lukaku for an adjusted value of 10 million recorded as impairment cost in the profit loss account. Therefore, this exalts Chelsea from actually recording a loss of 10 million, but rather changing the loss into an expense, and that is another loophole he's exploiting. Alternatively, if you sell a player above book value, for example, the sale of Havertz for 65 million, yet his book value was 25 million, this shows that Chelsea are actually earning a 40 million profit in the sale of Kai Havertz. Therefore, Chelsea are actually making profit by these kinds of sales. And this is something that Todd Boehly is using to ensure Chelsea's finances are actually in check in guide with the financial fair play rules. And don't forget, player sales are recorded in real time. So Chelsea will record they have received 65 million and 60 million. We also have the FSR that was introduced by UEFA in 2021 that emphasizes on cost control, stability, and solvency. This FSR has lifted and made FFP quite loose as a result of the 2020 pandemic, increasing acceptable losses from 30 million to 60 million across 3 financial years, an extra 10 million loss for teams in the Champions League. This sees Chelsea have the ability to go actually into a loss of close to 60 million across a 3-year period. We also look at Chelsea's wage structure. Chelsea have a positive 36.48 million in their wage structure, meaning that Chelsea have cleared out a lot of players. Todd Boehly signings that Chelsea are making are players earning below 100k compared during the Roman era. Because during the time of Roman Abramovich, players used to earn huge sums of money in terms of wages, with Lukaku around 325, Koulibaly 320, Kante to 90, Asby to 50, Jorginho to 100, Havertz 180, Odoi 120, Loftus-Cheek 120. These are very high wages. But when you compare to the Boehly era, Boehly is actually giving players long-term contracts with clauses in their contracts to increase and decrease their salary. For example, Mudryk signed for 80 million in the January transfer window, but only earns around 97k to 100k in terms of wages, showing that the sale of players in the Roman era has enabled Todd Boehly to ensure that Chelsea are in good financial state in terms of wages. And this clears out the rumors that Chelsea are offering players huge sums amount of money, because even Boehly has instructed that in the contracts that if players perform, their salaries are increased. But when they underperform and miss out, there are some certain clauses in their salary that can be omitted, seeing their wages go down. Therefore, Todd Boehly is just doing smart business and is outsmarting the financial FFP. Therefore, Todd Boehly must ensure that Chelsea get back to the Champions League places and finish high up in the Premier League, because in the next 2 to 3 years, Chelsea might find themselves in financial problems because of the smart business they are doing during this window. If you've stayed with us till the end of the video, thanks for watching. See you next.